Okay, I'm Rashid Ogunlaru, coach, speaker, author. I'm delighted to be here with my personal fitness trainer, Jason O'Connor. Jason, it's always slightly scary for me whenever I get up early in the morning to get training with you. No, actually, it's always a laugh. I just wanted to talk a little bit about health and fitness. Today we're going to be doing some tennis, because you know I'm a big tennis enthusiast, but I know most of the time you're working with a whole range of people on their fitness, from high achievers to people who are wanting you to work with their kids or whatever, or perhaps showing some signs of sporting kind of prowess. Tell me, when it comes to health and fitness, why do you think it is that people kind of struggle often to get motivated, be it that they're going to the gym or be it get a personal trainer? Why do you think people really struggle, particularly in the UK, it seems?
I think sometimes it can be intimidating going into a gym and you see all these big weights and these big guys and you think, I'm not carrying those heavy weights, can I do it? Am I doing the right thing?
Right.
And I found that a lot of people may even get bored in the gym as well. So sometimes it's good to actually do something that one actually enjoys, whether that's walking or just like playing tennis like now.
Right, so the good thing is that it can be different things, because that's it, isn't it? Sometimes we just kind of think fitness video or the gym, but actually there's lots of different kind of ways to do that. And it's interesting, we out here in Brockwell Park today, and with lots of your clients, you actually get them outside. Tell me, why is that? Why do you think it's sometimes good just to get people outside and you get them exercising outside? Sometimes we've done some sparring and thingies, or not quite sparring, but do you know what I mean? Stuff outside. Tell me a little bit about why you're keen to get people outside and the value of getting outside for exercise.
I find that some people actually prefer working outdoors. It has a different feel, and I suppose you can do both. You can work indoors and outdoors, but it's just to get that combination. And it's really to do what doesn't seem like too much work, and there's enjoyment at the same time.
And that's a really good word to use, isn't it? That enjoyment thing, because sometimes people do just see it as work, and particularly for people who don't have fitness, which isn't so much natural to them, or they don't feel as though, that they would call themselves somebody who's drawn to the gym. Because it strikes me you get the kind of two types, isn't it? The people who love it, it's part of their routine and so on, and people are a bit, who feel a bit more uncomfortable or intimidated by it, as you say. So the fact that you even mentioned that word fun, that it can be fun, do you find that sometimes people really, it changes their relationship to exercise and so on? They realise actually it can be fun, they can find something that they actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, I think what's important is also to try different things. Sometimes I've trained with people and they didn't realise that they actually enjoyed kickboxing because they never even thought of doing it before. So it's always good to have that variation, doing exercises whereby they're using their own body weights, or just sometimes using different various types of equipment that they've never used before.
Got you. And we started out just a while ago. I was doing some warm-ups. I'm so glad I didn't catch that on camera. Do you know what I mean? And you were just showing me, since I'd lots of, sometimes people can, well, A, I guess it's very important to warm up, and B, sometimes people can get into bad habits when they're exercising. I guess that's one of the benefits sometimes about having a personal fitness trainer, especially if you're getting started or you're wanting to get it right. Can you tell me a little bit about why it's so important to warm up, and what kind of things it is useful to do to warm up, and that thing about getting it right? Because sometimes, people may be going to the gym or doing all sorts of stuff, and you can see that perhaps they're not getting the best benefit because perhaps they're not using the equipment properly, or they haven't got those postures right for those particular exercises. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, again, yes, you mentioned that the warm-up is essential, and if you don't warm up, then you are more likely to injure yourself. And then there's also the various ways of warming up as well. So it's always good to make sure you are shown how to warm up properly. And even if you don't see a personal trainer on a weekly basis, it's important that at some point you actually see someone, or someone can actually assess that you are doing the exercises correctly, because bad habits can easily slip in and you do certain things wrong and you don't even realise you're doing it, and also cause yourself an injury. So it's always best to check with somebody, whether it's just an instructor at the gym, or if you have a personal trainer, that personal trainer should be assessing you and correcting you all the time.
And you're a real fitness enthusiast. It's been in your life pretty much since you're a youngster and so on. So tell me, for those people who are kind of starting out, either that they're somebody who hasn't done exercise. Well, let's start off maybe for that first type, somebody who hasn't done exercise and they're thinking, I really should, or I'm beginning to be a little bit heavy, or I'm feeling I just want to get that little bit more toned, or what have you. Give me some general thoughts, or just general advice in terms of somebody who's wanting generally to start out, or perhaps they've just got into some bad habits. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you would suggest that they do to start off, or what they should definitely be doing as a minimum? Because you talked about a number of things already, from getting people out walking to gym and so on. But what about if somebody's just starting, or they fell into bad habits? How can they start off or resume that fitness habit?
I think important thing here is that they start off on a gradual process, and not to sort of think that they could take off from when they're last training or when they was much younger. So it's always best to take their time, and then after the session they may experience muscle soreness, and it's to work out, right, okay, if I experience muscle soreness from that session, how much did I do? Was it too much? If it's too much, then you know obviously you have to decrease it next time round, but it's to have the workout and then assess how you feel afterwards, whether you need to keep it the same or progress or even adapt. And with the personal trainer, they should be able to assess that you're doing that.
When people are thinking about, let's say, getting a personal fitness trainer, and I guess the good things now, you know, a number of years ago, few people had personal fitness trainers. Now it seems as though all sorts of different people having personal fitness trainers. Is that true? Tell us a little bit about the range of people who kind of come to you, and for people who are kind of thinking about it, what should they look for if they're thinking of working like a personal fitness trainer such as yourself?
Well, I think they need to work out what their goals are, first of all, so they're more clear, and so they can tell the personal trainer, so the personal trainer can actually devise a program that is specific for them.
Right.
And to also be, you know, the personal trainer should be realistic with them, and they need to be realistic with themselves, i.e. if they want to lose like 2 stone in a couple of weeks, then yeah, it's really not going to be that reality, and it's not going to be that safe. So be realistic with themselves and be open and discuss with the trainer as to what their goals are.
And presumably that's really good. The more it is you have that kind of conversation, the more it is that the personal fitness trainer, well, I guess that's going to help you find out if that's personal fitness trainers and you, that if you can kind of work together, and B, I guess it's going to really help you to kind of feel as though you're involved and taking charge, and that you've got some, it can be fun and it can work for you. So I guess having that conversation can be really useful and set you at ease, I would imagine. Do you find that when people first start working with you and they can have that conversation about what they want and their goals, it gets them to think more and consider more?
Well, yeah, I think it's important that you do communicate, so you both understand what the goals are, and the trainer should be able to tell you how you're going to actually achieve those goals over what period of time. Sometimes you may end up doing exercises that you probably never thought of doing before, or you may not even like, but it's just to get that balance that you are enjoying whatever exercises you're given, and you're also benefiting from them.
And do you find that you've got the people are very different when it comes to exercise? You know, one of the things that's been good for me is that I quite like, you know, getting out and doing some active stuff, so as well as some of the general stretches and so on, the stuff that kind of you've shown me. I quite like, you know, I enjoy tennis and so on. Whereas I guess there are different people who like different things. Some people like the gym environment and so on. Tell me a little bit about how you found that, how varied people are in terms of when it comes to fitness and what kind of environments that they respond best to. And have you had situations where somebody has not responded to one thing, but then suddenly you show them something else, and that they're really flying?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a number of scenarios, and one point I want to pick up on is actually some people prefer to train in the mornings, like i.e. 6:30, 7 a.m, and some people just don't want to train any time before 10 a.m. And other people, like, they can only do evening work. So it's to find that, you know, when is the best time that they actually feel comfortable in training.
So it's good. So you need to find out that time. What time is going to work for you personally in your schedule when you're feeling at your best? Like, I'm a morning person. We're out here and it's early morning, and I kind of like that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's when where they feel comfortable, and also to try different variations of exercises. Some of them are going to like, and some of them are not like, and some of them would have thought they never would have thought of doing this. Like, there's some people I've trained, and like I've got like people doing this, martial arts scissors kicks, which a couple of years ago I probably thought they'd never be doing, but it's just yeah, and they actually enjoy doing it. It doesn't seem like a chore, and they enjoy doing it. And that's the main thing, that you are enjoying it when you are working out.
Excellent, excellent. And also, I mean, we're not going to have that much time to talk about it now, but one of the things that you also do is a lot of work around things like kind of street safety. You talked a little about martial arts and so on, people defending themselves and so on. Presumably, are there any basic tips or advice you would say to people who perhaps are concerned about that, either perhaps for themselves or perhaps they've got young kids or anything else? Any just general tips that you'd say for somebody who's kind of beginning to think, actually, maybe I should think a little bit about my personal safety, or take up something that's going to be able to mean that I can defend myself or whatever? Any general tips there?
Well, I suppose as you know, on the internet there's lots of information, especially on the Metropolitan Police websites, where you can get basic safety tips on how to look after yourself. When it comes to actually the physical attributions, really you want to go for a martial art that is, I would say, things like jiu-jitsu, or ones that actually specialise in self-defence.
Okay, and when you say self-defense, it sounds as though there's a lot there as opposed to what other ones which are far more dynamic or far more about attack, or is that the distinction that you're making?
Yeah,
there?
I mean, say for instance, kickboxing is a great sport. I've done it for many years, but it may not necessarily be the best art that is all-round self-defense. And really, you want to be learning things that you can get out of situations quickly and be able to run away.
Okay, and Jason, well, thanks very much. For people who are trying to find you, just remind us of your website address.
It's www.jasonoconnor.co.uk.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the game of tennis, and I'm looking forward to whatever the outcome might well be. Excellent.